Another Obamacare myth that is important to tackle, and to be perfectly clear, the impetus for tackling Obamacare myths is not to pretend that Obamacare is a miraculous, perfect change to the health insurance system. It is merely that we should be having debates on the merits and on the program and on the structure, and not over hyperbole or sidebar issues. So having gotten the website thing out of the way, let's now go into a more specific criticism of Obamacare as a program and its economic effects. And we have this myth, Lewis, that Obamacare is destroying full-time jobs and creating lots of part-time jobs. And this is something that is flat out not true. Let's actually look at the latest Bureau of Labor Statistics household survey, which shows that in September, part-time jobs fell by 594,000, while full-time workers increased by 691,000. Separate issue from whether you believe that these job creation numbers are sufficient or not. Separate issue from whether you think that we should be creating even more jobs or stimulating job creation in a different way. The specific argument we're looking at is that Obamacare is destroying full-time jobs and creating part-time jobs, specifically, Lewis, because employers can, based on the number of employees they have, avoid having to provide them with health insurance if they are part-time or working under 35 hours per week. It turns out, again, Lewis, that the numbers just don't support this claim.
No, not at first glance anyway. Of course, we are going to need to wait a little longer to see for sure, and hopefully we have some larger numbers to work with, but I am guessing that it will continue along this pattern.
Well, I actually want to address Lewis's comment because it really gets me into the next thing, which is we initially heard, I'm going to point out to you something called the ad hoc rescue logical fallacy that a lot of people are doing. And Lewis is really just being open-minded. He's not actually doing this in the way that a lot of right-wingers are. But initially the argument was, in the year lead up to Obamacare, we are going to see full-time jobs deteriorate, part-time jobs increase because employers are going to be setting up ways to avoid having to provide health insurance. Once we present these numbers to right-wingers who are very much against Obamacare, a lot of them are saying much more aggressively what Lewis said, which is, you idiots, these numbers mean nothing. You actually have to wait until Obamacare has been in place for a year or two because all of the employers are just waiting to see what will happen. Now, at its face, this is ridiculous because we know so much about Obamacare. We know what premiums will cost. Enrollment has opened. We've had now over a year for employers to figure out what they're going to do, run numbers, so on and so forth. It makes no sense. And this is the ad hoc rescue. I'm sure you had conversations like this with people, Lewis. Hey, you know what? I just know that Stacy is just waiting to ask me out. Really? Because Stacy's been going out with someone else for 3 months now. Yeah, I know, but Stacy's doing that just to make me jealous so that then later we'll get together. Really? Because they just got engaged. Well, that's just her way of making sure that I really know that I should be trying to get together with her soon. It's you make a statement, and then it's pointed out to be clearly not viable. So you add something. You ad hoc add stipulations to try to rescue your argument. This happens a lot with religious arguments, Lewis. So, for example, hey, great news. My cancer got better. Someone says to you, great, I was praying for you and my praying worked. God healed you. Well, what about all those hungry and sick children around the world that are also being prayed for and they're not getting anything? Well, God can't help everyone, but I thought God was all powerful. Well, they must have not really wanted their prayers to come true enough. That must have been what it was. You've got to know this logical fallacy. You have to identify it. You cannot allow people to bamboozle you with this ad hoc rescue. We see this one so much, Lewis.
We do, and we still do have numbers and facts here, and they do account for something.